Today marks 384th day. Share lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about one of my favorite topics. I know that's supposed to be my favorite topics, but I think that this really gives so much power when you live in this topic. And that is last day reflections. When you think about last day on earth, what do you think? What kind of thoughts comes into your mind when you think about last day on earth? I think that when you really start thinking about last day on earth, what it gives you power to really live more presently. I think that you don't think about it because I really love saying that this is one of the 100% guarantee. Every single person who is born will pass away. And I think that's just denying that truth of that. I think sometimes could really steal our joy, could steal our urgency, steal our priorities, steal our values. There's so many things could be stolen from us if we actually do not understand that we are not here permanently. This is a short-term stop. And I think that is sometimes once in a while is really great to reflect on that last day on earth because you're able to reconnect with the most important things because I think that including myself. I get lost into the minor things, in the simple things, into the not simple because not simple. Simple could be beautiful. Simple could be great. But I think that's what I wanted to really say is that sometimes we get lost ourselves in the simple things that do not matter. Do not matter. And when you really start looking into last day on earth and visualizing properly, I think that we get back the power of the present. So today I'll share real reflections on what we potentially we could reflect on when you think about last day on Earth. And I think that um, I will share like what steps we can potentially take to really maximize our reflections. So number step one is last day visualizations. Visualize that day. And I think that there's a lot of questions we can ask. Where am I? Who is with me? Or what's the weather like? What I'm physically doing? Lying in the bed, sitting outside, walking the beach, flying somewhere. Like I think being able to really visualize that moment and how that moment actually looks like. And because at that moment you potentially could look at okay, like for maybe you said that I want to have a house on a mountain by the river. And maybe that's where I would love to see my last day on earth. Maybe you want to buy the beach. Or where is that? Maybe you want to be on a hundredth floor on a building to be see it far away. Where is that? Maybe there is like who is with you as a big family? Do you see like of course if you're a 20-year old or 30-year old, maybe you see that there's 10, 15 grandchildren with you. Maybe you want to have a massive family. Maybe that's the picture of what you want to have in your life. Or maybe there's just a couple of people and that's what you want to have. I think that's a beautiful to really to say, okay, what kind of connections do I want to have? What kind of person you want to be? So visualize yourself. Do you want to be a fit person? Do you want to be a old fit person? Or do you want to see your overweight? What kind because I think that when you start to think about what kind of person you're looking to. And as a second it's step two is identity your last day thoughts. Identify your last day thoughts. And I think that that's beautiful. So when you think about what kind of person you want to be, that means that what kind of thoughts will be on the last day. So what kind of person are you? What kind of thoughts going through your mind? What do you want to be thinking at that moment? I think it's a beautiful question. What do you want to be thinking on the last day on earth? Do you want to think about stress? Do you want to feel? Do you want to really think about regrets? Because again, this is the one really helped me to really take action when I don't want to do anything. Maybe when I feel lost, when I feel something that is not going well. This is one thing that I really don't want to think. I don't want to think regret. I want to feel joy. I want to feel purpose. I want to feel meaning. I want to feel and think that I did my best. And I'm fearful that I one day I will wake up and I will feel regretful, and that fear pushes me forward and makes me do the things that maybe sometimes I don't want to do, but I know that I will feel better after doing them. And because Again, this is just two things: what I will be thinking and what I want to be thinking and what I want to feel. So peace, joy, gratitude, relief, all those is positive emotions, and that's what we're supposed to seek. And I think that sometimes be able to really say to ourselves, okay, what kind of motto I want to really have in my life? Like, for example, I love fully and without holding back. I chase wonder, not just comfort. I left world better than I found it. There's all great models to live by. And I think that when you think about last day, those could be really great things that you think while you have the last day. Number three is extract the core values. And I think that's last day thoughts. And I think that we're able to really say that, okay, what kind of values do I live on the last days? And then what last day, like what kind of value do you want to represent to others, to myself? What is the most important that I want to show up? Maybe I want to really say on the last day on earth, I want to really still pursue some kind of adventure. Maybe I want to really creativity. Maybe, again, this is a question is not just about the last day. This is more of a question as what did you do till the last day? What did you do to the last day? So that when you think about on the last day, when you think about your values, core values, what core values do you actually live by? Not what you said that you cared about, not what you care about right now on the last day, but what you cared majority of life. What kind of core values you build? Because it's easy to say I care about you, but what is hard is to do the actions necessary to show the proof that you care. Because I think that people sometimes say I love you too fast. Because if you're not willing to really care about a person to take actions necessary to show the love, that means you're not supposed to say that you love that person. I think it's very, very important to say that when I say a verb, do I actually care to really show that? I think it's very, very important. And I think that's exactly the same with core values that we need to really, when they say our values, we need to make sure that those values are backed by action, not just words. And number four, step four is reverse engineer to today. I think that's a beautiful thing. When you think about last day on earth, I think that's as I said at the beginning that the most beautiful part about really thinking about last day is that we're able to really use that visualization, that knowledge to our own power to use in today life. So what are those core values? And I thought in that last day. So do I live right now? And what's stopping me from living those values? What could I change? What I could pivot towards to move to that picture, to close to the picture? Because I really loved them. I was listening to one podcast. I said that I achieved what I wanted to achieve in my life. Everything else, what I do right now, is extra, the bonus, profit. I think that is a beautiful thing when you really think about last day on earth and you start taking actions to achieve that vision, that legacy, and you achieve it early before the last day. I think that's when you really don't have regrets because you did all the things that you wanted to do before the last day, and now you feel that you get even more to do. You have more bonus to achieve, and that means that when you say that with those core values, when you write all those core values, and I ask every single value that you really have, what do I do right now regarding this? About love, adventure, service, like any value that you really write down that is really actually very important for you. What do you do right now specifically for this value? And I think that a lot. And step number five is just really daily micro check. Like, are you really moving towards the most important things? Are you really doing something regarding your values? Are you really doing regarding your identity? Are you really doing something regarding legacy? Just to make sure that you because you're not able to do extraordinary things in one day. But what you're able to do, if you do something extra every single day, small micro checks, just to make sure that you're able to really have extraordinary life, an extraordinary last day on earth. And I think that's just important most important part. I think that when we look into those steps, the four most important things that we need to really think about is gratitude. That means that the inventory of that wonder, all the things that I'm grateful for. I always say that what you appreciate. The more you appreciate what you have, the more you will get. Number two is connection, the final conversations. I think that connection with yourself, inner peace. Do you have that inner peace that you always wanted? Do you have that connection with people that you love? How many people that you have around you on the last day? Do you have acquaintances? Do you have true friends? Do you have true loved ones? Do you build associations, strong, nurtured relationships? Do you have 1,000 people who just barely know you, or do you have 10 people who really know you deeply, and those are true friends? Because it might be different. Maybe you want 1,000 people who barely know you, or maybe you want to have that small list of people, 10 people who are very deeply in love with you because know that you mattered. Number three is meaning. The meaning. So, what was the meaning of your life? That's the final story that you would love to do? The last words? What will when you think about the book of life? What kind of last sentence, last paragraph you would love to write in that book? What would that say? Just believe I think. What would your last page would say in your book? What would you love to really other people to remember? And the last thing that probably the most important part is the present. Last glance at the world. So that means that the present moment, I think that when we're able to really think about present moment in the future, how that potential could look like, I think that we're able to really, really embrace present moment today even more. Look through the window, see the blue sky, see the clouds going by, being able to really hear the winds, hear maybe birds, because I think that's I found myself as well when I get in a rush, when I get in that hustle, I forget about all the beautiful things that are in front of me. Nature, connections, nurture. Like there's so many beautiful things, and I think that when you really think about last day, I think that really allows me to reconnect with the most important things. I hope that that question and that reflection doesn't create some negative things. I think that that's again, some people could really feel stressed to think about last day on Earth, but for me, that brings joy because it brings me joy when I think about all the things that I do right now. I'm proud of myself right now because I know that I will be proud of myself in the future as well because I was standing for something. And I think that every single person needs to find what they want to stand for so they could really leave that legacy. And on the last day on earth, they could remember that they were people who really stand for something. I think that's the most one of the most important things in life besides all the relationships and there's so much things to discuss, but I want to just finish with a small thought that we need to reflect about last day on earth on a consistent basis. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.